Valeria and the Enemy of Time, Chapter 5. I stood in front of the bathroom mirror, looking at my widow's peak and the white-streaked lock of hair. My hair did look pretty strange compared to the other girls. I brushed my bangs down over my face. They reached all the way past my chin, but were still shorter than the rest of my hair, hanging in a black sweep down to the middle of my back. I pulled my bangs aside so I could see through the middle of the curtain. With my bangs hanging down like that, they covered the white streak. How would that look to get them cut? Covering up my forehead, my hair wouldn't stand out as much at school, which would be nice because it would get rid of some of the cutting remarks about vampires and going gray so soon. But something held me back. I kind of liked my hair. It was me, and I especially liked that it was how the three wise ones had identified me. At least until I find out if what they said is true and will really happen, I'll leave it like it is, I decided. I brushed it back and put a little hair gel on it to keep my bangs from falling down and hiding the widow's peak. I practiced the expression I wanted to use the next time I saw the wise ones. Sort of casual, sort of haughty. I tried out what I thought would look like a secret smile, the smile of a girl who had great important secrets, one who had been chosen out of everyone else. I saw the scene in my mind. I would be sitting on a bench, eating school lunch by myself when the wise ones appeared. All the girly girls would be sitting at one table, giggling and yapping, but they would instantly stop when they saw the strange figures. Staring, they would shiver and pitifully ask me, "Who are they?" I would just toss my head at the girls and say, "Oh, they're here for me. Sorry, this is important business I have to see to. Gotta go now." I wouldn't even turn back to look at them, but they would wonder, and they would say, "We should have gotten to know her. What an interesting person Valeria must be." Morna would give one look at the principal, and he would step aside and let us leave. "I'll be back," I'd say. "Just gotta go save the world now." But I would chuckle, and he wouldn't know whether to believe me or not. And Theo, I thought, Theo would be with me too. Finally, the sound of someone yelling my name broke up my fantasy. "Valeria, we're waiting. It's your game. We're waiting for you to open it up." I sighed and pulled my hair back in a rubber band. Most of the time I felt so ordinary, but now I felt special. At least there was a chance I might do something important, that I might be someone important. The wise ones had treated me like I was extraordinary, and I was excited about what would happen next. Mom had not been able to wait to introduce me to Monopoly. She set up a family game night the next day right after school with a bowl of toffee peanuts, grape soda, and snickerdoodles on a TV tray nearby. The unopened game box took the place of honor in the middle of the dinette table. Sean was sitting across from me, and Theo was there too, which was one of my requirements for the family game night. We would have to postpone our clubhouse appointment until Saturday morning, but that was okay. Theo, snickerdoodles, and grape soda. Mom was glad he could come because she said it was more fun playing with 4 people than with 3. I opened the lid and pulled out the blue-backed game board. The outside edge was covered in printed squares, most of them trimmed with different colors. The box was divided up into small sections, and was full of tiny bags of little colored objects. There were also bundles of fake money and stacks of colored cards. Of course, there were also dice. These are properties, Mom said. You move around the board and can buy them if you land on them. If someone else lands on your property, you charge them rent. She shuffled a stack of yellow cards and put them on the spot that said Community Chest. And then she put the stack of orange cards on the spot that said Chance. If you land on the square that says so, you have to draw one of these cards and do what it says. Like if it says, do the hokey pokey? Sean frowned, but Mom knew I was joking. Very funny, smarty pants. Usually it will say you either have to pay money or get money from the bank. I'll be the banker. How do we move around the board? Theo asked. Oh, said Mom, everyone has to pick their token. The words shot through me like a jolt of electricity. Token! That was the word the wise ones had used to describe the object that would take me to the broken thread. Could my token be in with the Monopoly tokens? I snatched up the plastic bag of little metal objects. Somebody get me scissors! No, wait, I have a knife! Before anyone could move, I slashed the top open and pewter tokens tumbled out and bounced across the table. Everyone scrambled for them. Ah, the Scotty dog! I'm always the Scotty dog, Mom said, scooping up the four-legged figure. My race car, said Sean. They still have it. He picked it up and drove it around the table, chasing the Scotty dog, which was barking and whining, until the car took pity on it and gave it a ride over to its own side of the board. These are cute, said Theo. Pick one, Sean said. The one you choose can always be yours when you play the game. I could tell he wanted the car, but he finally picked out the wheelbarrow and drove it over to the adjoining TV tray. He loaded up a toffee peanut into it and pushed it back to his stack of money. I picked through the rest of the tokens. How would I know it? There were at least 6 or 7 more of the metal objects scattered out across the table. Then I saw that one token had slid under the stack of $50 bills, and I pulled it out. It was a rat. I held the rat token between my fingers and turned it around, looking at it. I was aware of its oily, cold weight, and I grew uneasy. The rat was crouched with its shoulders up, and I could make out the line of its naked rat tail curving along its flank. Where the Scotty dog had a blank, dumb expression, the rat looked cruel and vicious. Yet I rubbed it and stared at it, turning it over and around. I had thought the token from the wise ones would be comforting, maybe beautiful. I then had the uncomfortable thought that maybe they'd used a sort of magic to create it that they weren't supposed to. Maybe the sort of magic that would get them in trouble with the head council. After all, going back in time to fix things got Soli in trouble. I realized I'd never found out what ended up happening to her or her planet. My thoughts began to drift. Let me see, Mom said. Reluctantly, I handed it over. Mom held it out so Sean could see. Have you ever seen this one? She asked. No, he said. Maybe someone at the factory's playing a joke. This can't be a real Monopoly token. He handed it to Theo. Pretty creepy, he said, handing it back to me. I closed my hand over it and stuck it in my pants pocket. I'll be the cat, I said, plucking the kitty out of the pile. They let me go first since it was my birthday present, and pretty soon I was really into the game. Each roll of the dice was a chance to buy property and amass a fortune, or have to pay out some of my precious money. I scorned the railroad properties because I wouldn't be able to put those cute green houses on them. But I moaned and complained as loudly as Mom and Sean did when I landed on them because Theo had bought them all, and now he was able to collect $200 every time someone landed on any of them. It was exciting when anyone landed on one of the community chest or chance squares because of the secret little yellow and orange cards. Mom seemed familiar with all the instructions on them, but they were new to me. "Go to jail!" I shrieked when Theo read the instructions on the one he drew. He was smug. "I'll just sit in jail and get my rent," he said. "Too bad I won't be landing on your property now." I fumed. But the next card I drew was puzzling. It didn't seem like the rest of the chance cards with their cute pictures of Uncle Pennybags. I held on to it, frowning. "Read it," the rest of the players insisted, so I read it aloud. The Black Death was a combination of plague strains which killed 25% to 50% of Europe's population. The important seaport of Genoa, Italy, is where the disease first entered Europe, where it quickly spread to the rest of the continent. People were in horror of this pestilence for which there was no cure. Parents abandoned children, wives abandoned husbands, and no one could be found to bury the dead for money or friendship. I was confused. "That isn't a chance card. Let me see it, Val," Mom said. "No, you're right. It must be a mistake." I folded the orange card into a tiny square and slipped it in my pocket. "I'll pick another one." I quickly picked another card, hoping they would forget about it. It had to be a message from the wise ones. "Advance to go! Collect $200! I squealed and stuck my palm out. "Give me my cash." We played for 3 hours until Theo finally bankrupted us all. "Mine, all mine," he cackled as he raked his money into a pile and fluffed it up. "Here, peasants," he said in a fake British accent. "Alms to the poor." He fluttered pink $5 bills in front of us. We all got up from the table, creaking our stiff muscles. All the snacks were gone, and it was bedtime. Theo sighed and began stacking his money back into the dividers in the game box. The houses and hotels also went back into the box. The tokens followed them, all except for the rat. I kept it in my pocket and hoped that Mom and Sean had already forgotten about it. Maybe this was the token that the wise ones had been talking about. If it was, I didn't want any more attention drawn to it. "I'll walk Theo to the lane," I called, and then grabbed his elbow as we went out the door. "Are you still on for tomorrow?" I asked. "Yep," he nodded. 3:22. I'll be there right after breakfast. "I've got some things to tell you and I can't wait. Wear your survival pack." "Of course. Don't forget yours." "Of course." When I went back into the house, Mom was putting away the game. Sean was in the kitchen making me some hot malted milk for my bedtime snack. "Thanks, you guys. That was really fun. Thanks for getting it for me and having the game night." "How did school go this week?" "Fine. We're getting our own bus back on Monday. They had to fix some broken headlights." "I can't believe they didn't take all the children to the hospital to have them checked out." "Everyone was fine, Mom. I was fine." "I'm still glad they took you in. Did your memory of the accident clear up any?" "Yes," I lied. "Good," Mom said, satisfied. "A concussion is not something to be taken lightly." I was pretty sure I had not gotten a concussion. I'd been working on convincing myself that the charter bus had not suddenly appeared in front of the school bus, but after meeting the wise ones, I wasn't sure about anything. "Here you go." Sean came in with my special purple cup, extra malt, and a shot of chocolate. "Thanks, Sean," I said. He smiled at me and patted my shoulder, and then left to watch the TV news. "You know, you can call him Dad if you want," Mom said. "I know," I said. "It just feels weird." he thinks of you as his daughter. I know. I'm just not ready yet. Okay, I'm not trying to push you, but when you feel ready, I know it would really please him. I know, I said. I was really beginning to feel uncomfortable. When do you think that might happen? Mom asked. I answered in a way I hoped would end the conversation. When do you think it might happen that you quit calling me Val and start calling me Valeria? And while Mom sat there without anything to say, I got up to get ready for bed. And that's the end of Chapter 5. If you want to hear Chapter 6, subscribe and come back around in around a week.